What? A movie that everybody kind of were. What? A movie that everyone's mostly divisive on, and some would even go as far as to tear it apart, yet I liked it? What a twist! Guys and gals, just a quick reminder before you watch this video, do not forget to subscribe for more content such as this, and if you do so, please click the little bell symbol right next to the subscribe button. You'll get notifications on your phone, on your tablet, and on your laptop for when you can get more content from this beautiful face once more. I distinctly remember being in my chair while the credits began to roll on Split back in 2017 and thinking, wow, that was a really well-made horror movie that didn't have to be overly bloody, really well crafted by M. Night Shyamalan. It looks like he's back. And then that stinger hit. And that stinger was just something that was just unheard of. It was just something that none of us were expecting, even though at the same time we were kind of expecting it because it's Shyamalan. He always does a twist to his movies. So that the fact that there was no twist at that point, it's like, well, really? Stinger came, revealing that Split was in fact a unofficial sequel / spiritual sequel to Unbreakable, Does Connect in the Universe. Here we are 2 years later with the fantasy movie that Shyamalan really wanted to make by taking two separate IPs from two different studios, meshing them together, as he puts it, once in a lifetime opportunity to create a movie, Glass, which centers around David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, Mr. Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and the Horde, multiplied, whatever, fuck it. James McAvoy plays him, or her, or them, and it's the three of them finally conjoined together on an insane asylum where their powers, or what they perceive to be their powers, are put to the ringer. And this is a sequel that I was just hyping myself up more and more the more I saw some trailers and footage, thinking to myself like, wow, we're in such a saturated market with superhero movies that are all starting to, for lack of a better term, to kind of sort of blend with each other because of certain elements from Marvel and from DC that they're starting to kind of take on the nature of a template. So to see Shyamalan kind of do like, well, I did what most perceived to be a very original superhero movie in Unbreakable, and then a very somewhat original supervillain origin story in Split, kind of meshing the two together. This is what a lot of people thought was going to be that proper third act to this three-part story. It doesn't even really feel like a trilogy. It feels more like a three-part story where you play through like a game or you go through like a TV show, and every season focuses on a different character, and then they all kind of come together at the end. Glass kind of plays on those illusions a similar way and takes its own mythology and the way that the rules are set up for these villains or these heroes in the way of David Dunn, or how their powers work or what they perceive of his powers, and kind of toys around with the ideas of how these people, you know, they live among us. They're like regular people, and this is kind of the closest thing that you would see as a superhero interpretation in the real life, where none of them have to take on legit costumes. This is like its own little corner of interpretation of real world, and having these heroes inhabited, it's just something very unique about it. And Shyamalan's take on it is actually rather cool. David. Who are you? Me. You very much know who I am. I'm you. I'm the cynical critic in you, the one that just can't let the little things go. I was having a good time. I was actually really liking this movie. I was actually really fonding this movie quite a bit because of how well the performances are and just how this universe plays with its rules very well. Yeah, that's fine and all. That's cool. You want to live in this world, but you gotta think of this as a movie first. And think about this. Don't you think the movie maybe dragged just a little too long? There was just moments in the middle that just dragged, and I felt like we were spending way too much time in this asylum with the three of them talking. And don't get me wrong, some nice little dialogue in between the two with these actors to really play off of that material, especially McAvoy, and most of all, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, you agree on that? Yeah, that's actually what I was about to get to before you really interrupted me. Samuel L. Jackson, everybody always has their parody type of look at Samuel L. Jackson as being the motherfucker guy, but in my opinion, I always thought that Jackson's best role was actually as Elijah Price, aka Mr. Glass, because this is where he has to play it quietly. This is where he has to bring himself down and play with his emotions and play with his intellect. And I think that he really nails that out of the park. And then McAvoy is just living the dream as an actor because he plays a character who literally has 24 personas. that's an actor's dream right there, because you get to bounce off of one personality to the next, and you get to really flex your skills and also flex your muscles an awful lot. When he rips into the beast, holy shit, the dude's jacked. Yeah, but then there's Bruce Willis. I mean, Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. And sure, David Dunn, he's supposed to be like this tortured soul, but I just feel like he was super underutilized in this. Sure, he looks cool in the raincoat, but I really hoped that he could just break out a little bit more with his super strength and with his acting ability. Okay, alright, sure. Maybe Bruce Willis got the shorter end of the stick, but he got the shorter end of the stick. And there's also some side characters here that are even given some rather coarse dialogue. I mean, sometimes Shyamalan is not exactly at his best with his dialogue. Maybe he could use a punch-up writer every so often, because man, is he still in the 2000s? I mean, at least in some moments he is. Not all the time, and it's not necessarily the worst thing he's ever written. Trust me, we've seen that bottom of the barrel before. But just like Kevin starts to lose some of his personalities to the others, it's almost like we were starting to lose Shyamalan to that older, mid-2000s Shyamalan. We don't want that, do we? No, I guess we don't. Which, I guess, maybe if the writing wasn't as strong in some parts, whether it be with that little bit of dragging in the middle or some of the dialogue for some of these side characters, at least the directing is. There's some cool camera work and really great visuals that are tailored together that really deliver a good sense of suspense, and still gives me the hope that Shyamalan still has it when it comes to taking the camera and putting it in certain places that other directors wouldn't, and they would make it in a much more bland style. Whereas Shyamalan, when you see his movies, you know that it's done from him, especially whether it be with some one-take shots between two people having some dialogue, or some action scenes that are filmed in a very unconventional way. What is it now? What is it now? What are you gonna ruin for me now? Shyamalan. You know what else he's known for? Those fucking twist endings. Yeah. How about the one on this one? Right. Twist endings. Well, I mean, there was a really good one here that I really did not mind. I was actually expecting worse, but I thought that was a really clever one there at the end. But then he added another one that I think would have been better as a stinger, maybe as part of the actual ending for the movie. It could have ended a little sooner, and I will admit the actual ending that we got, did not like it. I didn't hate it. I wasn't never driven to that extent, but I think the movie could have ended a little sooner, whether it be with cutting out some moments in that dragging portion at the asylum, or that actual ending that I think could have rolled credits a little earlier, and it would have been the perfect note to end on, to leave us with something to really think about, while at the same time not having to overdo it on the superhero motif, going a little too far to where it's like, well, Marvel and DC are doing it, then I guess we got to do it as well. No, Shyamalan, you don't really have to. Well, David, I mean, I was actually expecting you to bring up some more things, but is that really all? Is that it? Yeah. I was disappointed about how much little there was for me to critique. Yeah, I guess. Okay, well, it sounds like you liked it just as much as I did, except you did have a couple of points to make about some of the things that you didn't like or that we had to pick apart, and yeah, I kind of, to an extent, agree with you, alright? But come on, let me enjoy something. Let me enjoy it, please? Well, thank you. So, in short, I did enjoy this movie. It wasn't exactly the colossal train wreck that it could have been, considering that this felt like a sequel that Shyamalan could have easily painted himself in the corner with, because he put that stinger at the end of Split, thinking, whoa, look how cool it would be. And then in turn, he might have ended up with a cool short concept that he might have needed to stretch out to 2 hours. Thankfully, he stretched it with a couple of flaws here and there, but overall, it's still a very enjoyable movie that I'm glad I saw. So I'm going to be giving Glass a low 8 out of 10. I think it would have been a solid 8 or even a high 8, but it was that ending that I thought to myself, man, you were just so close to being a really good movie, and you just had to give us that ending. And that ending made me think of the alternative more so than what we actually ended up with. And when you kind of cloud my visualization of that, then there's a little bit there to kind of ding you a couple points for. So that does it for my review of Glass. Please let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys thought of the movie. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to like and share this video to show your support, and also subscribe for more reviews and videos coming soon. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. And you, fuck off. And yes, the show still has that very Saturday morning cartoon feel based on its frenetic pacing, the way it just kind of quickly transitions from one shot to the next, and then you also have that bombastic music and the way the characters also tell their lines.
Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!